Okay. So, last time on the dungeon,
Dragon Ball Z.
Dungeons and Dragons, the Salus campaign, you all defeated the Demon Lord Jublix. You all returned to the surface of Salus with Uriel, the Solar of Tempest. He came up with you all. You have had victory over the Demon Lord Jublix. You find that Polis has changed quite dramatically in your absence. The once macabre streets are filled with a soft, radiant glow. The air hums with energy, and you feel scratches and strained muscles that did not fully heal during your rest soothe supernaturally as you progress through the streets. When you round a corner, you expect to see the Azure Griffin Tavern, the crashed airship turned tavern that you have been residing in and working out of for the past months. You expect to see it before you, but instead of a crashed airship, quote-unquote tavern, you see a gaping hole in the curtain wall of Polis, and beyond the ramshackled remains of Dupolis, the town you helped to safeguard alongside Beryl Underoak. Sorry, I kind of said that weird. But instead of the crashed airship tavern, you see a gaping hole in the curtain wall, and beyond that, the ramshackle remains of Dupolis. The desolation catches you off guard at first. The force of adventurers that was ready to stand against Glacia's army must have failed. But that is not true, however. As you pick your way through the hole in the curtain wall, you see to the north of the town 2 airships hovering several feet off the ground. Gathered around these majestic airships are a variety of tents, and you see many people milling around. A rather large silver and bronze dragon bask in the dusk light of the day off to the side of the encampment. You can see the winged form of Kuok, the Aarakocra that's in the employ of Beryl, flying around the rigging of an airship that can only be the Azure Griffin, for the sails are a bright azure in color, and you see standing prominently at the prow of the ship is the figurehead of a majestic griffin carved in shimmering azure as well. As you approach, you see familiar faces of men and women of various races you know stood ready to face the devil army when you left. Their faces are cast with determination. In the largest tent, as you approach, you see kind of amongst the people, Whittle's shimmering purple robes following a pair of diminutive figures that are just slightly smaller than he is. You see Beryl first, but then you see kind of trailing behind him is a very odd-looking cat-like creature, but also has some weird kind of non-cat-like features. It's Fanyaza. Beryl stops suddenly when you draw close, as if sensing your presence, and he turns and he smirks at you all. And he says, "Holy shit, you're not dead. Good. It's been a month since you all went to do the gods' work. Now it's time to kick some dragon ass." He pauses and looks up above even the tallest of you and gapes. "Holy shit, is that a solar?"
Yeah. Oh boy, he held down in the Jubilex lair.
We were gone for a month. We managed to find some friends along the way.
Well, shit. Glad to have you, sir, he says kind of awkwardly. You can tell he doesn't have all that much. He doesn't have a respect for authority when it comes to the Solar, but he makes a stab at it. And the Solar looks down at him with golden eyes and blinks slowly, and looks around. And he says, "I sense another Celestial here in the city. I will return shortly." And his large expanse of wings kind of flare out, and he lifts off in a huge gust of wind, and you see him fly just a short bit before there's kind of like a blur, and he just shoots off back towards Polis. And there's a few celestial feathers that kind of float down, that kind of dissolve before they hit the ground.
I wish I had wings like that.
He seems to be a busy man.
Beryl says, yeah, so, anyways, welcome back. Look, I'm guessing you guys won. You kind of look like crap, although you don't look as bad as I thought you were going to. Perhaps you all should maybe get some rest. I got a camp or a tent I can set up for y'all.
A most gracious host as always. Thank you very much, Beryl. To answer your question, yes, we were victorious. If not for our winged friend who just took his exit, we may not have come back, but here we are.
Yes, well, it's glad to hear it, because I definitely have noticed a difference in the city in the past few days. It seems like everybody's mood increased dramatically. So, good job. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for holding down the situation here.
Yeah.
Do you have a quick report you can give us of how things have happened and shaken out while we were gone?
Well, we won, and he kind of looks back, and your daughter is standing right there, and he puts a hand on her back and kind of gives her a gentle push forward. And your daughter here was actually quite useful during the battle. I know I said I was going to keep her safe, but it just seemed like the devils kept stopping to worship her a little bit, so kind of had to use her a little bit. You understand, right?
I kind of like look at him like, you used her a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Did he? Are you okay? What happened?
She's just
Tell
like,
me.
Did the little guy touch you?
I'm talking to her. I'm asking her this question.
she's like, well, she kind of actually looks a little bit more confident than when you last returned, and you see her look at Beryl for a second. Beryl gives her like an encouraging nod. She's like, well, Mr. Underoak, he's taught me some things, and she like she like pulls out a dagger real fast, and she says, he's just taught me some good things on, like, not to talk to strange demons. And I heard what you said, Father or Papa, before about talking to that little imp, and well, Beryl helped me to get rid of it.
Ah. I look over at Beryl. Good man. I doubted you for a moment, but I should have known better. Thank you for taking watch over my daughter as I was away. But
Yeah, she just needed to. I mean, she's maturing quickly, and you can see that she's grown a couple inches already in the past month. Yeah, she just needed a little bit of a little push, She's not being. She's already old enough. She can make some of her own decisions, right?
I suppose.
Anyways, why don't you all head out? He looks over and he snaps his finger and says, "Widow, go get them a tent. Why don't you guys go get rest? Tomorrow we're going to be having a meeting regarding what's happening next."
Okay. Well, that
Oh,
seems the most prudent thing to do.
is there any ale or?
Oh, of course. Widow, go get them some ale. Oh, hey, by the way, Billiam's actually back. He brought some beer.
Ah, dear Billiam. Our favorite, well, maybe second favorite brewmaster.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, Whittle's kind of Bimley kind of put him out of business, but he's still making some stuff. He said he's going to start a new business. But anyways, he can tell you all about that. But yeah, Billiam, we're glad to have him back. It turns out he headed off on his own there for a bit and managed to brew up quite a bit of, yeah. I think he said he went to Rootstone, set up a small brewery out there. That's where he's been.
We'll have to go visit.
Yeah. Well, he's here now. You're not going to have to visit him.
Right.
But maybe if Salus is still intact after what we have to do.
Right. Well, maybe visit him when he returns. Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, off you guys go. Go get some real rest.
Okay.
So he kind of shoos you all away, and you guys are led by Whittle over to tent, and you see that there's a number of empty cots in the tent, and Billiam joins you all later and breaks out a keg of beer, in tankards, and you guys are drinking, and right outside the tent there's a campfire, and you guys all kind of set up around it, and it's night is fallen, and you're all later, or it grows later and later without anybody getting up and uh, going to bed just yet, and you're all sitting around the fire sharing stories. Gilfowl just recently shared a story, or hiccuped his way through a story about how he slept with a black dragon before he passed out drunk in his chair. And then Beryl shows up kind of out of nowhere and joins you all for a drink. And he sits down and he's like, "Man, it's been a long time since you guys were here, huh? I mean, you've had quite the adventure."
To say that, I think maybe does not give it enough respect, honestly, Barrow. We've had an epic, one that it does not seem I will ever be able to do again or do better in my lifetime.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's been pretty active and
To think that we began this all in as random, just mercenaries in that dungeon, and then traveled literally what it feels like across space and time to find this place and to be in this moment with these
Yeah,
people. You,
what happened in that dungeon? Because I've never actually gone in there myself. But you, Fang, you actually came out of it. Sir Teven, you weren't actually in the dungeon, were you?
uh, well, I was in
this is the prison,
Jubilex's
right?
dungeon, but not the prison.
Yeah, okay. The prison was very different. In fact, it feels like it was a crossroads. I am obviously not from this land, and found my way here through said dungeon. It seems that larger forces are at play, um, but for the time being, the events here are the most important and demand the most attention. The dungeon is a place I feel like we could, at one point or another, reapproach, but for now, the main problem, it sleeps.
Yeah. Well, you guys got a key from Glasia's palace, didn't you? Didn't she have a key?
That I believe we have some sort of access, and we also ran into some sort of unsavory individual concerning that whole dungeon-like process. He seemed to have a master, um, but the specifics of all of that have not fully been revealed yet.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, we have a key. The Celestials who once guarded the prison. Uh, there were 20 of these keys, and yeah, we can use it if we want.
Well, I mean, we got more important business to deal with, don't we?
Yep.
I would say so.
Yeah, hey, this whole Glasia business started because you slept with her, right, Fang?
One of the other unfortunate things to come from said dungeon, said prison. She seduced me while we were in there. I did not know her true intent.
It wasn't just you, like, wasn't there another guy? Wasn't it a foursome? Because I
I have
remember
not
hearing Daryl
told
brag
you
about
these
something like that.
specific details right now. Sex is complicated. Yeah, there's a lot of things moving around, a lot of bodies, a lot of emotions, maybe a lot of liquids as well. It's a confusing place. It's a confusing space. There may have been more than four. There may have been six. I don't know if people went in, went out. I can tell you that both myself and the infamous Glacio were both involved. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. And Daryl lost his head over it, huh?
have to
I
bring up.
would kiss and tell.
Well, you're lucky you didn't lose your head. Eh?
Nope, and Glazia lost hers instead. So can we move on then?
Oh yeah. My apologies. My apologies. He's like, so what do you guys? What's was your favorite adventure while you were here?
Ah, a very good question.
The Tower of Crystal was pretty interesting.
I don't think I was along for that one.
Jet was a part of that one, I think. I remember him telling me that he stole the crystal and then ended up running off into some mountain. And oh wait, did he not tell me that, or maybe I just read his mind when he was here last time? Hey, did you encounter that drow lady that he supposedly had a crush on?
Oh, we did.
Ah, this must have been when I was bound and captured by my dear
Yeah,
betrothed.
Fang was captured by Glacia, and tortured.
I
From what,
must admit, it was not a fun time.
but we went in the Underdark and we met a whole city of Drow. They were kind of mean, and
Yeah, well, most
little,
drow are.
little scary.
They got to get the vitamin D, if you know what I mean, you know? And he kind of like stands up, thrusts his hips around.
Yes, we know
Well,
what you mean.
we did not give that to them, but
Did
Probably a good idea.
well, but so how did it turn out?
uh, if I remember correctly, and I've been on a lot of drugs, so don't quote me, but I think they helped us get into Glacia's palace, and we killed Glacia, and uh, who was the other one? There was another crazy lady that we killed.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
Um,
you're talking about that tiefling she had running around with her. What was her name?
Victoria?
Victoria. Yeah.
that bitch.
Well, she sucked. So we had to
She,
kill her. But it was an amicable split.
a most unpleasant person.
Good. Good riddance. And he spits on the ground. He's like, You know, you guys aren't very good at telling stories. Do you want to hear a story from my past?
Uh,
Yes, regale us.
Okay, so there I was on Faerun. You guys know what Faerun is?
What is this place?
I have
It's
an
a.
uncle that lives in Faerun.
Oh, you do. Where's he live?
Uh, Hartvale.
Hartvale. Yeah, I haven't been to that part yet. I've been to Waterdeep. I've been to Erebor, Baldur's Gate, Chult. Oh yeah, and Luskin. I haven't made it too far off the Sword Coast. You been? You
That's
ever
a
heard of
nice
any of those
story.
places?
Thanks for telling that story.
Oh, okay. But yeah, sorry, the story's not over. So, anyways, there I was. I was in Chult at there's a city called Port Nyanzar. Beautiful city, all sorts of colorful things. Oh, and dinosaurs. You know what a dinosaur is, right? I think I saw Gilfowl riding around on a Triceratops earlier.
Yep.
Is that what
Yeah.
they're called? I thought that was just some kind of giant lizard.
Oh yeah. I mean, they have names. I mean, you could
Oh,
call it giant lizard, and most people know what you're
a
talking about. Or
dinosaur.
yeah, or horned lizard.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, dinosaur.
He rides a dinosaur. Okay.
So, anyways, uh, there I was. I was in town, and I was shoot. What was the dang thing? Oh yeah, I was at an auction. I was at an auction because my dad wanted me to fetch a few magical items, and there was this item I wanted. It was like a orb. It was a black orb that was like inert, and it was cracked or something like that. He wanted me to purchase the orb, and I was like, well, it's just a stupid, shitty, scrying orb or something that somebody dropped. And I went to go to purchase it on the auction, and somebody outbid me. And so, well, I got a little frustrated. Talked to him. It was two artificers like your friend Bimbley. They were told to purchase it by somebody else. And so, funny story is well, there's a dragon turtle that guards the bay of Port Nyanzaru, and well, I convinced it. He uses air quotes to help me acquire the orb, and most of the city got destroyed, but I got the orb and gave it to my pops. The last time I was on Mountain Deep, and yeah. So, anyways, that was pretty thrilling. Most of the city destroyed. Also, those two guys escaped. I don't know where they went, but fun times, right? That's how you tell a story.
So, what does the orb do?
I don't know. It was just like an orb. It looked like a jewel of some sort.
Okay, and why did your dad want it?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay, so
I
what's
feel
it
like you
do?
are missing important plot elements for this to be a good story. You are a bad storyteller.
What?
So
No, you.
my story also had things that we did in places that we went. Um, but we had a mission
You
to
made
get
time skips.
Fang, and there is, you know, a reason. You don't. Your story doesn't even have a reason.
Well, I mean, what do you mean a reason to get it? If you ever meet him, you can ask him what the reason was that he wanted the damn orb. I don't know why he wanted it.
Very strange. Very strange. How did you end up here, Bell?
Well, there I was cruising across the Asterial Sea. It's the area where the astral plane and the ethereal plane kind of meet. A small area where ships and well, space kind of faring creatures are able to sail through. And we came under attack by some Githyanki raiders on our travels, and they damaged our ship, and we went out of control. And, well, we didn't see this particular world. Most of the time, you can actually see the worlds that exist out there in the Asterial Sea. But this one, it's best described as a column of gray and red mist floating in between the two realms. Was absolutely wrapped and wreathed in that, and we didn't know what we were flying into, but we thought to steer in what way we could into that area to escape the Githyanki raiders. And well, we
Brave of you.
did strinking across the sky of
Very brave of you.
Salus. I think we flew out over the pits of Tanar, and then we kind of crashed the ship into Polis. We lost quite a few people in the crash. Thankfully, a number of us were able to survive, but a number of us being about 6 of us. Kuak, Whittle, myself, Grog, and Celine, the bartender, and I can't remember the next guy, but that's how we ended up here. Pretty drab place at first, but we made it work.
Do you intend to return to where you came from?
Yeah, my dad lives on near a city called Mountain Deep. You ever heard of the Under Oak Empire? Or, well,
I am from a different land, mostly a desert planet.
Barrel.
What?
I know Barrel on the Rogue.
yeah, I'm Barrel Under Oak.
Yeah, I know you, Barrel.
Yeah, well, anyways, so, well, I guess I've never told you, but my family owns a series of taverns and inns, tavern/inns, across the Baxis system, which is the known worlds. And
I see.
yeah, they're all named kind of the same way, although the flagship taverns are normally named after the very plain colors. The flagship tavern was the Blue Griffin, with the premier tavern being the Grey Griffin in Waterdeep. The Blue Griffin used to be on Faerun in a small town called Subar, but now it's on. It's in Mountain Deep, a world that a lot of people in Faerun ended up in after the displacement catastrophe many years ago on Faerun.
What? Why were you displaced?
I wasn't displaced. My father was displaced.
Why was your father displaced?
Well, so, okay, yeah, all right. Let me pull into my history lessons here. So, like 100 or so years ago, there was a huge war between a number of factions on Faerun, and they were all surrounding these primarily it was between metallic and chromatic dragons.
Oh, well, we've seen the fruit of their labor.
Yeah, indeed. Anyways, they were the beginnings of the war were mostly very covert and involved a lot of heists, slaughter, death, all this kind of stuff. Like a lot of subterfuge at the beginning. From my father was involved in it. He was enlisted by a green dragon, and by enlisted I mean he was blackmailed by a green dragon named Skathosin to acquire a green orb of dragon kind, which is used to control dragons. And this orb basically was what they were fighting over. There was a bunch of them. And so he managed to acquire it, but I think he gave it. There was another party of adventurers with him. I think he gave it to them. But they killed a thief king called Xanathar in Waterdeep. Anyways, many years later, my father decided to go become a merchant acquisition specialist. He uses air quotes at that.
Merchant acquisition. What an interesting phrase.
Yes. Seafaring merchant acquisition specialist, along with his compatriots.
Was your father
And
a smuggler?
a what?
A smuggler?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. He always uses that phrasing, so I don't know whether he was a smuggler or a pirate, but he's always been a businessman.
I see. I see.
And so, anyways, he went that way. But from what I know of the history of the war, the displacement happened because a demon lord named Gratz got involved with the chromatic dragons and actually managed to summon a creature known as a Tarask. It's like a very old, ancient, powerful creature. Unstoppable in many regards, except by maybe the most powerful, like, God-chosen adventurers there are. And his demon army led it to Silvery Moon in the Silver Marches. And there, many of those super God-chosen, powerful heroes gathered to fight off the forces of the demons, to basically try and eliminate the Gratz faction that was amassing before they tried to help Bahamut face Tiamat. And during that event, Elminster had a plan to set up a giant greater teleport circle. I don't know exactly how it worked, but he had a plan to basically just teleport the Tarask somewhere else. Now, this was in 1373, which was known as the Year of Wild Magic. Shit went awry all the time. So they were crossing their fingers. And when that Tarask entered the circle, he activated, well, shit went awry on a huge scale. And magic went haywire, and a teleportation storm basically formed that shot bolts of lightning out that zapped all sorts of people. And by and large, most of the people ended up in Mountain Deep, or what was named Mountain Deep later. And that's actually ended up being how my father ended up on Mountain Deep. Is the storm stayed around for many, many years, and he managed getting struck by a lightning bolt before even his buddies did. And so he ended up linking up with his buddies again, I think, after like 20 years. So But he got teleported first than the rest of them, from what I hear.
Do you?
And you say we're bad at telling stories.
What are you
That
talking
was
about?
so
That was
hard
good
that
stuff.
was so hard to follow.
What do you mean? I just told a great story about all this stuff. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I understood.
Hey,
Salus.
wait a second. Do you think that
Fast.
cracked orb my dad wanted me to pick up and was one of those?
Felt like it was destined. Some kind
Oh,
of dragon orb, maybe.
don't we have the bronze orb?
Wait, you got one of the orbs?
Didn't we get
I do
one?
not believe we do. I believe our tiefling associate May, dear Termus, did have one at one point. Was it
Aramis
not
is
an
sitting right there if you want to talk.
Termus? Was
roleplay
it
him.
not a amethyst dragon orb?
Yes, it was actually quite that. It seems we happened upon one in the midst of things. I was approached by said dragon.
It was
I don't remember.
just a note. It was I think you guys recovered the bronze orb, but the bronze dragon was right there when you did, and he demanded, or it demanded that you give it over, and then it demanded that you give over the amethyst one because it discovered that you had that one too.
Yeah.
But you convinced it to keep
Keep
it,
that one.
to keep that one. Yeah.
So we have the amethyst orb.
I managed to talk my way out of giving up the bronze, or giving up the amethyst orb, and it remains in my possession to this day. I know not yet
Shit.
what to do with it, except for to keep it out of more sinister hands than those that I know are at least neutral in this situation, which are mine. Ah, well, it seems we have some sort of edge. Do we know if that orb can be used to look at other dragons? Well, part of the deal, at least with the bronze, and it might be safe and smart to keep it that way, is that I swore I would not use it. I do not feel it was a wise decision to make, especially with the nature of these things. I know not who else can see with these orbs, and I also know not who else owns these orbs.
I didn't promise anything. I can use it.
Teramis looks at Deepin.
So you don't care if someone else is watching?
I mean, I won't be doing anything bad. I'm just looking at it, so I mean, not like I'm, you know.
What are we trying to find with this now? What's the goal with using this thing?
Maybe see if there's any other dragons nearby, or.
Perhaps with your different way of thinking, you might pull up some different discoveries. He like pulls it out of his pocket and he like looks at the orb and kind of ponders for a bit.
Barrel's eyes. Everybody is like kind of chatting amongst themselves. They all kind of like snap in your direction because the thing has a very inner like magical glow to it. Everybody's eyes kind of look over to you. You have like the attention of all your friends and
Gotcha.
fellow adventurers. Barrel is like leaning forward to look at it more quizzically.
I
He's
look
like,
at it and I say, well, I did say that I wouldn't look at it. But if it could help us.
I take it from Teramis.
okay.
I think this is dangerous idea.
I'd like to use it and see if there's any dragon nearby.
So, all right. You can communicate verbally and visually with the possessors of other orbs. You also are aware of the particular variety. You could know exactly where an amethyst dragon is within 10 miles, or where an amethyst dragon is. Oh, okay, my bad. You know where dragons are within 10 miles, so you immediately can sense the silver and gold dragon, just like within the area of the camp. And then you can also sense that seems to be several other dragons kind of within 10-mile vicinity, but not as close.
So we got some dragons that are on our team right now, because I know Narb took off.
Yeah.
And there's another
Yeah,
dragon at the
you saw a silver and a bronze dragon when you first arrived. And you recognized kind of think that the bronze dragon that you saw was the one that you remembered like saving from the devils previously in the same fight that Fang was taken. The silver dragon you've never seen before. And then so for dragons that is of the amethyst variety, you could sense within 100 miles. You think you sense something like you have that initial sense of like within 10 miles, and then as you're like holding it, you can feel your senses like expanding out, almost like it's like a wave effect trying to sense within each increment, and it feels like at the very, very edge of your perception and in the direction of like up and like out somewhere in the sky far, far away. It seems like there might be an amethyst out there.
I take my hand off of it, and I would like to relay the information to everyone.
Okay. Barrow's like, oh wow, shoot. Amethyst dragons aren't very common, so that's interesting.
Yes, it very opportune bubble we have had come into our possession here, it seems. Yes, but I do still think it is rather unwise to get too comfortable using this thing. In fact, once might be enough, to be honest. Terebus, did you find anything of note in your search?
Sertivan.
Sertivan, wow. Sertivan, did you find anything of note in your search? I promise I'm not talking to myself.
They got some dragons right here. They're in camp. They're right there. Did you know that there's dragons here, Barrel? There's also, I think I felt an amethyst way far
well,
away.
and let's not be rude to them, okay? They're gonna help us out later. All right, it's Clarion, and Clarion is the silver dragon, and where do I have the other name? Sreldanara is the bronze dragon. Okay, you be respectful, Sir Teven. Don't be doing any of your drugged out, freak out stuff.
Have they had Widow's Brew yet?
Not yet.
Oh, well, maybe we can go have a drink with them.
Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough of Taramis. Can you just go ahead and take the orb from him? I'm afraid he's gonna.
Taramis runs over and just grabs it back. Yes, I think it's time we end the use of this for everyone's good at this point.
When you grab it, do you take it with your bare hand, or do you like
I
throw
had like
something of it?
my robe. My robe's
Okay.
like over it. I didn't want to touch
You
it.
you do like the Gandalf Palantir thing where you just drape it over.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm not getting my hands on that thing again.
Okay.
The moment I do that, I'm in trouble. So
He's like, okay, well, Daryl's like, well, yeah, when my pa was telling me about the old Dragon War on Faerun, he said all this started, when these orbs started appearing. So this doesn't bode well if you have an amethyst orb there, bud. And there was a bronze orb that apparently the bronze dragon has, I guess, somewhere on its scaly body.
yes, unfortunately, so it seems. Well,
All right. Well, I'll have to ask around and see if anybody else, I guess, has heard of any orbs around Salus. Might be worth taking a look. Unfortunately, the guy who would have known freaking died in the damn battle. You remember that wizard Zathar?
oh no, the one
Yeah.
with the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, don't all wizards have beards?
Well, a lot of them do, but it's a fashion choice.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess you guys didn't really know him. But Taramis, you remember, he was at that... I heard that he was at that bar that you guys visited with that dragon.
Ah, yes. In the corner, minding his business when we, well, kind of introduced ourselves into his day. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, such.
He would have known about it. Damn. All right, well, I'll have to ask around. We'll see.
What happened to him?
He was ran through by one of those demon beetle things. I mean, devil beetle things, not demon beetle things. You remember that icy looking devil creature? Let me see what they're called, real quick. Oh yeah, they're called ice devils. Okay. I was like, yeah, I was on the tip of my
Oh,
tongue.
do you mean ice devils?
Yes,
Ice-looking
yes,
devil creatures.
I mean ice devils.
Right, right. Got you.
He was like he was like Glacia's general. Anyways, Zathar a couple adventurers tried to take him out, and that dude, well, he speared Zathar straight through the face. So, yeah,
I
not
see.
good, not good at all.
Well, he will not be too pleased when he faces me.
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
The ice devil's dead. Both are dead. We killed it.
Wonderful to hear.
We killed them all.
Thank you for avenging.
Yeah.
Zathar.
Yeah. Well, anyways, fellas, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the hay. Pleasure having the drinks with you. Taramis, you keep that thing safe, all right? I don't want to see it out again.
It is my task to make sure nothing else happens to it.
All right.
I'll do my best to keep it thus.
Don't spend all night drinking. Tomorrow we're meeting in the bigger pavilion over there. We're gonna have a bit of a war meeting like we did that one time. Discuss the plan, and then we're gonna launch. All right. Get some rest. Get ready. Get all of these guys ready. He gestures to Gilfow, who's like just snoring into the grass on the ground, and he says, "Glad you made it out alive. All right. It was a little unsteady there, but I know Fanyaza would have been upset to have to not get a chance to get to know you when you've just been constantly on the move. And so, Steven,
Hey, Barrel.
keep it real, I guess. I don't know what to say to you, druids. Keep it nature.
I'll commune with nature. Is there anything you want me to tell it?
I mean, if you want to commune with nature, that's your thing. I don't care if you do or not, to be honest.
Okay, but is there anything you want me to tell it?
Get better soon.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Okay.
Fang walks up and like gives Beryl a big like bear hug, just like over envelops him. He's
Oh, That's fine. Oh, yep, there you go. Okay.
Thank you, my
You got
friend.
it. Yes.
Appreciate you.
Yes. See you tomorrow.
I'll put it back down. Good night.
Okay. And the rest of you guys share drinks and share stories around the campfire, laughing and having a good time at the expense of all the craziness. I think try to remember who was in on that adventure, but somebody mentions how crazy it would have been if Fang had turned into a were rat. How funny that would have been.
Lycanthropy. That was him and I.
Yeah.
Fang did not remember that part very fondly. He was pretty upset about that whole situation.
Yeah.
he was very alarmed.
Somebody in the kind of the drunken stupor in the rowdiness just says, "Oh, the irony! It would have been hilarious." And
Oh, what's that?
somebody says, "Man, don't you remember the last time we went through old Narb's place? It was all destroyed by those trees. Frickin' Teven. Am I right?"
Yeah. He was able to build a new place with all those trees. So he should be thanking me. I thought. I mean, who doesn't want more trees in their area? I mean, trees are great.
Trees in the area is different from trees in the house, my dear blue friend.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, of course, I know.
trees.
Trees, yes.
And as the night continues, Fanyaza kind of tugs on your armor or your hand and says, "Papa, bedtime."
Yes, little darling, it is time. We've all earned our rest this day. Let us find our beds, find our rest, and continue this day anew tomorrow with fresh eyes and a fresh mind. Plot our next move.
Yeah. So Sir Teven, all the adventurers kind of get up. They kind of all mumble, "That's a good idea. Should we move Gilfow?" Somebody just says, "Nah, just leave him." And everybody kind of just ambles into the tent and plops onto their cots and closes their eyes, and you all get a restful night of sleep.